Well, greetings all and welcome. I am coming at you from my campsite here in a beautiful national forest. Focus of today's video is going to be talking about the current van that I've been using to basically camp in full time. Oftentimes I'll say I live on the road full time, but really what I mean is I'm just camping full time. I go from campsite to campsite, campground to campground, national forest to national forest, or public land, whether it's Bureau of Land Management or national forest, and I've been doing that full time for the last 10 years or so. So those of you that are new, my name is Brian, and I have been doing this for the last 10 years. I do not have a home base, and yeah, what I call my home is pretty much these national forests, and the vehicle I use is just my camper van. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the camper van I'm using now, the Chevy Astro van, because it's a fairly new setup. I've now been in it for 6 months, so I wanted to give a little progress report update on how that's been going. I have a very minimal setup in the van, so we'll get over to the van here, show you what I'm working with and how it's going, and the things that aren't. Mostly what I'm going to focus on is the things that aren't working out, that need to be changed here in the near future if this is going to be sustainable for me. So let's get into it. So you can see the Astro van over there, and of course you can tell that we are in this screen tent of sorts. This is part of my camping setup, and you can see my table there with my camp stove that runs off propane, and my camp chair, and a few miscellaneous camp items that I keep around the campsite. That over there is a pump spray bottle that I can use to shower with or do dishes, so that's my kind of pressurized water source. I do have a little fold-up charcoal grill that I can use to grill on when there's not the luxury of having a campsite fire pit and grill. And then you can see over here I also have some fold-up solar panels that keep a battery power station I use in the van to basically run a small refrigerator, 12-volt refrigerator, as well as run all the electronics that I need to make these YouTube videos that I upload to YouTube. So let's get over to the van and check it out. So here's a shot of the screen tent from the outside. That is a 6x6 quickset tent by the company Clam. And over here I have a 200 watt Renogy fold-up solar panel. As you can see, there's no wires going to it. It's not plugged in because there's no sun shining on it right now. And that's going to be a big portion of what I talk about in this video. And of course, here's my Chevy Astro van. This is a 2000, and it was a cargo van to start with, so totally empty in back. This window was not here. I recently installed this, and that's one of the things that was very much needed. Without any windows in back, approaching summertime, it was just going to be too hot in there, so I knew that was coming, so I installed this in the spring before it got too warm, and I'm so glad that I did because it provides very good ventilation. So you can see on the roof there, I have this contraption. That is a roof vent that runs off of 12 volts as well. And then it has a motor for the fan that you can turn on, and you can put it in exhaust mode or you can have it blow air in. I typically use it in exhaust mode. That sucks the air out there, and when I have this side window open, if the door is closed, it gives me a nice draft. As well as I've put a floor vent here, so if I can't have that window open, I can still get some ventilation coming in from that floor and going up out through the vent there. And a very simple setup inside here. This is just a Coleman Ridgeline is the make and model of this cot. It's just a fold-up cot that comes with its own little pad, and I added a secondary 4-inch foam pad on there. And that has been working out wonderfully. That is something that I don't need to change. That is sustainable. It works. It's very comfortable. I get a great night's sleep. So that is working out great. And this is my refrigerator here. Let me get some light going on in here. See if I can turn on some of my little lights. Let's put this a little bit more towards the back there. So my light setup, I'm just using these rechargeable LED lights. Those are working out great. I've got 2 of them, so I'm able to keep them charged. If one runs low before the other one, I can have one charging and then still have light. And that's working out great. Don't need to change anything with my lighting setup. And the refrigerator, this is an older Dometic CF18 is the model. And they don't make these anymore, but it's a good solid fridge and it's been running great. It's got just enough capacity for storing the food items that I need. And I run this off a Blue Eddy power station, which I have kind of hidden under this table. I'll give you a cleaner shot of that, overlay that on here. and that's providing enough power to run the fridge. The problem is keeping the power station charged. Because I don't have solar panels on the roof of the van permanently, I have to be somewhere where I can deploy the portable panels that I showed here. And it's proven come summertime. It was working fine in the winter months where I was in the Southwest where there's not a lot of trees and cooler temperatures. But now that I'm in places where there's more trees and it's warmer, so the fridge is running more, I'm proving to not have enough power to keep the fridge or the power station charged more than 3 or so days without sun, and that power station gets down to where it needs to be charged up. I can charge while I drive as well, but it's proven that I'm just not putting on enough miles between camps to get everything totally topped off. So I need to address that, and I think the solution is going to be adding like a 200-watt panel or maybe even more to the roof of the van permanently. So that permanently roof-mounted solar panel in conjunction with the fold-up panel, as well as being able to charge when I drive, I'm pretty sure that's going to have my needs covered. But as it is, it's not working out, and it's been a struggle. Okay, so beyond just the power situation, everything else is working out okay. I would like to actually install another window on this side. And as you can see here, I haven't done any real building. I'm going to hop in so you can get a view kind of from the other side of the van. Okay, so I'm now sitting on the bed here and of course looking out the side window. You can get a little better view of my little table here. The Blue Addy power station is under here, and I actually have a secondary one that quit working on me, so I'm holding on to that, hoping I can have it repaired and get it working again. But yeah, overall, I did not do any building. You know, you see a lot of vans on YouTube, and of course my previous vans where I've taken and built a lot of cabinetry and storage and bed frames and tabletops and all that. And I chose, because this was a new van, I really wanted to see how it would work out. This is kind of downsizing for me. My previous vans have been bigger, especially my last van was a 10-foot box van, a retired U-Haul moving van. But as you can see, I'm still able to fit my mountain bike in here, which is something I love to do. And this whole thing for me of being on the road and camping full time is to be out there and not in here. So everyone has different reasons for pursuing kind of a nomadic life, living on the road, and this is just to illustrate what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing and what I feel I need for that to be the most effective. And what I really pursue in life is just trying to be happy and content with the least amount of money. That's a big thing for me. So not investing any money in building anything and getting this van out on the road for a full winter and summer season, I felt would give me a good idea of what I felt I actually really needed in this before I started investing any money into it. And of course, it would let me know how well the van is running, and if the engine blew, I didn't, just drop a couple $1,000s or $1,000 in building stuff and now the van doesn't even run. So it kind of was, a few different reasons on why I wanted to do like this test run in this van. And I will tell you that for me, I could kind of continue to live and travel how I've been doing in this van with this current setup. But ideally, long term, I definitely would want to make some modifications. The first thing that I would do, as you can see in this setup here, there's this wall divider. This is a metal, they call it a bulkhead. They put these in a lot of work cargo vans, and there's a swinging door here that I have blocked with my water bottle. But I need to get rid of this bulkhead. I'm going to leave this section here, and this is all stuff I'll probably do months from now in the winter time. But I'm going to leave this section here, and I feel like I should remove the door and the other piece there. I'm losing a lot of space with retaining the bulkhead. There are some advantages. The front cab is sectioned off kind of security-wise. I can lock that if I want. But I lose a lot of space. I'm sacrificing a lot of space. I'll step outside and kind of show you how much that protrudes into the back space of the van. So as you can see here, this is how far back the bulkhead protrudes into the back space here. It's not that much, but it is a good 6 inches or so. What it does provide me is behind the passenger seat, that gives me a little space to store some things. That's actually where I store my fold-up table and that. But what I really would like to do is just not have this here and flip the passenger seat around. So I open up this whole space here, have a nice comfy seat to sit in, looking into the van this way. And then I'd still be able to store like my table and some things behind the seat once it's flipped around, and then when I'm driving for visibility I can fold the seat forward out of the way and still see out the side window and my side mirror for safety in that. So that is something I'm pretty sure, well, I know that I'm going to do come this winter. I'm not going to do it in the middle of my summer trip this year, but yeah, come this winter I will be selling my box van and focusing on getting this set up for my needs. So really those are the two main things: not having enough solar and just having a little bit too cramped a space back here due to this bulkhead. So with that, that will allow me, and this is what I've been doing when I sit in this thing the last, since I've been on the road with this the last 6 months, is I just kind of sit in here and visualize the best possible setup with having that seat turned around, looking into the back of the van here. And what I would really need to do is to build some sort of cabinet unit for just this side of the van. And that's really it. I don't feel like I need to do a whole lot of elaborate detail work. Just having one good, very functional cabinet type setup here where I can store all my cooking stuff, my stove, have some fold down doors that I could use as tabletops when they're folded down, and be able to sit from the passenger seat here and utilize. I would probably move my fridge from back there up to somewhere up here, a little bit more convenient, maybe even in between the driver and passenger seat once that bulkhead door is gone. So those are the kind of ideas that I've been thinking about and will execute when I'm done with this leg of my traveling. I still have a fall seasonal job to go to in North Dakota, and then when that's done I'll go back and deal with the box van, get that up for sale, and then spend time on getting this set up a little bit more how I'd like. Okay, and this is usually what I do for when I'm editing videos. I'm able to set up my laptop here, and I am sitting on the edge of the bed here. I do have to kind of hunch over a little bit, so it's not totally ideal. It'd be nicer if this was a little higher and a little closer to me. So sometimes I'll use my bucket table and bring that over kind of between my legs, scoot over a little bit more this way, and be looking out the window. Nice environment to be working, kind of an office view there. But ideally, and that's another thing that I'm thinking about with having the passenger seat turned around, is having like a lagoon style, that's just a brand name, but you can get different types. A table that kind of swings up and you can swing out in front of the seat and then stow away. It folds down and swings back down when you're not using it, as to not block the doorway. But yeah, being able to sit in the passenger seat, be able to have like an adjustable back on the seat, which my passenger seat does, and a table right in front of me that I can swing to the perfect position and raise up and down. I think that would be ideal for me. It definitely would motivate me to want to open my laptop and get busy editing videos. I do tend to procrastinate because this is, a little less than ideal. Definitely works, and I've been, putting out all my videos since I've been on the road in this Astro this way. But yeah, it would be, I definitely think, a lot better sitting from the passenger seat. Okay, so something I almost forgot to mention is my water supply. My water supply has not been sufficient. I only have this 5 gallons of drinking water, and a lot of times when I'm at find a camp, I want to stay there for at least 7 days, if not a few days more, and this is really only getting me by for about 5 days. So I really need to either double that or at least carry a few more gallons, because it's turning out that I use about 1 gallon of drinking water a day. That's between drinking and cooking. I do drink a lot of water. I don't drink any other liquids really. I don't drink, soda pop or beer or anything like that. It's just water, or I'm making tea with the water. And yeah, that's depleting way faster than I thought it would. In the box van, I carried like 15 gallons, but I really feel like I can get away with maybe just 10 gallons. So a second one of those that maybe I could store up between the driver and passenger seat, but as it sits, that needs to be changed. I'm making it work. But I've had to break camp a few times where I've not been by like a lake or stream to filter water, so I have to go into a town. Now the 2 gallons that I have in my spray bottle for washing up and showering, that's usually sufficient, especially like this summer. I've been by natural water, so I can go down to the lake, dip that in there, refill it, bring it back to camp, put up my shower tent, and be able to shower with that water. So yeah, it's really the drinking water situation. Need to either double that or at least 3 more gallons. So 5, that'd be 8 to 10 gallons I think would be sufficient. So depending on what I do with this cabinet unit that I'm thinking about building here, I'll try to integrate maybe one of those into that, or up between the driver and passenger seat, store a secondary one. Okay, and of course I have to address the question that I've been getting so much since I transferred into this van from the box van, and that's, do I miss standing up? I could stand up, I had standing room height in the box van, and I don't. I don't miss it. I actually don't even really think about it until somebody asks that question in the comments of my videos. It's just a non-issue for me, but I really feel like I need to have a disclaimer with that. So many people do this nomadic life and live mobily in vans and campers for different reasons. Some people just don't want to be tied down. It's financial. They just don't want to be tied down with rent and can live cheaper, and don't have a very active lifestyle. And some people are very active. We're all just come from different walks of life. So I'm talking about my specific case at this point in my life. And the standing up thing is really a non-issue. The goal is to spend as much time outside as possible. And the box van that I had, if you've seen those videos I did with the box van, I made it very comfortable, actually almost too comfortable. I found it was just way too easy to hang out at home, and I kind of got down this path of like nesting and just getting more and more things that were tailored to me spending more time into the van, more creature comfort things for cooking and entertainment, and I just was hanging out in the van a bunch and getting depressed. For me, I really need to be outdoors in the sunshine and fresh air, and this small space, although it is very comfortable for me, it really motivates me to be outside. After spending a day in here on a rainy day, it's totally tolerable and doable. I can watch videos on my laptop or iPad and be entertained. I have some music production equipment that I can use to keep me busy and feel creative and fulfilled. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to the sun coming out and getting outside as soon as possible. So when I want to stand up, I step 3 feet that way and I'm standing up. I'm outside. And even if it's raining, I have my screen tent. It has panels I can put on the side, and I kind of have a rain-proof place to hang out still outside, and I can stand up and cook outside. But I've got this set up to where I can do all those things except standing up inside this van. I can cook, I can use the bathroom if I need to. So really, it's working out for me, and I feel like it'll work out for me for years to come in the future. So I'm going to go with this. Really, it comes down to just keeping things minimal and simplistic. Of course, you may be thinking, or I even had the thought, well, I could just purge a lot of the stuff that I have in the box van and just ride lighter and live more simply in that box van. But really, that's the whole reason for having that bigger space, is to be able to fit more stuff in it. It would be silly for me, in my opinion, in my use case, to have a bigger vehicle that uses more fuel, burns more fuel, and not really need the space. So I've arrived at this minivan, this AstroVan. It gets really good gas mileage. I'm averaging 20 miles per gallon on a stretch where it's flat and no wind. I get 22 miles per gallon. When I'm climbing mountains and it's windy, more like 18 to 19, but on average right around 20. So I'm saving a lot of money in gas, and it's really more so than just the money. I just feel better about consuming less fuel, and overall it's just the choice that I'm choosing for my lifestyle. It may not be the best choice for a lot of people, but for me, after 10 years of being on the road and using 3 different vehicles prior to this in varying sizes, I've arrived back to the smallest option possible for me. So yeah, just kind of wanted to share that. I know a lot of people have been curious and think I'm losing my mind and going crazy. Why would you go backwards? For me, this is not going backwards. Going backwards to me would be moving back into a house. And that's where it comes. If I really want all of these creature comforts and the comfort of a place that I can just spend all my time inside, that's what I would do. I would just get off the road and get a house. That just makes more sense, and then take road trips. But for me, that's not the life that I want to live. I want to be free full time and roam and pursue these seasonal jobs, so I'm not stuck in one place all the time. So I hope that's helpful. There's really not much more else to talk about other than I do have an inflatable paddleboard in the front passenger seat, and that's the other outdoor activity I have. So between the mountain bike, the paddleboard, which allows me to get on water, which in the summertime, that's how I'm choosing to beat the heat. I've got a couple options. I can go real high up in elevation for cooler temperatures, or I can stay in semi-lower elevations where it does get warmer. You know, mid 80s, high 80s is about as much as I can take, but I've got to be by water. So I've just been choosing areas and camps that have lakes, streams, rivers that I can swim in, and it's really proven to be fine. I do not need air conditioning. I sleep just fine after the sun goes down with the ventilation. I can, most nights, we've had some warm days, it gets down to about 68 in here after being 85, 90 during the day. So overall, it's just working, and it's I'm going to roll with this. So that's what's to come these winter months. I will be showing the modifications that I do to kind of tailor this more for a long-term setup. But yeah, hope that relieves some curiosity for a lot of folks and give you a little insight on how things are working out in this Astrovan.